Albuquerque police are about to take a big step toward addressing concerns raised in the damning report from the Department of Justice on APD's use of force. In the wake of that recent DOJ report and the controversial shooting of a mentally ill man in the foothills, increased training to deal with the mentally ill is about to begin.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Krista Gutierrez. Crisis intervention training is set to begin tomorrow, and eventually all APD officers out in the field will receive it. News 13's Cole Miller spoke to the man who's leading the class and the man overseeing the department as they make these changes. Cole?
Crystal, this is one of the first steps in fixing a department looking to regain the public's trust.
I have to ensure that every officer on this department is accountable.
It's a big task for Deputy Chief Bob Huntsman, the former Albuquerque police commander brought back to the force to help oversee changes in light of the recent Department of Justice report that slammed APD.
We have all got to work together to come up with solutions that will help us make the reforms and the change.
One of those changes, give all APD officers who interact with the public increased crisis intervention training.
There are a couple major challenges for law enforcement officers.
Dr. Troy Rogers, a police psychologist, will oversee that training.
Police officers are one of the few folks who deal with folks in crisis or individuals who are mentally ill who don't have to have a specialized license or degree.
In their time at the police academy, cadets get 55 hours of basic crisis intervention training. Now they'll get an additional 40 hours, including de-escalation techniques. Currently, only 27% of officers have already received that extra certification.
We put the class participants in the midst of a situation in a controlled environment so that we can critique it, we can practice it without the potential for a negative outcome.
Deputy Chief Huntsman says the clock is ticking on every call.
What we're looking for is to get a quicker response, that as soon as a call comes out that involves somebody in crisis, that whichever officer shows up is already trained in that.
APD has come under scrutiny in recent years for how officers deal with the mentally ill, most recently for the shooting of James Boyd in the Albuquerque foothills last month.
10 CIT classes are scheduled through this year and an additional 8 next year. These classes aren't very cheap, each one costing up to $25,000. Crystal, back to you.
All right, thanks, Cole. Now, when it comes to the DOJ report as a whole, Huntsman says his outlook is positive. He says they're going over all of their policies and procedures to make the necessary changes.